UFC 309, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic is live this Sunday, 17th of November at 5 a.m. South African time. It is the greatest heavyweight of all time versus the GOAT. All this and more in Fighting with Friends. Welcome back to the CPS Report. It's your boy, Brother Gaia, back with another fight breakdown. This week, we are doing a breakdown of the UFC 309 Jones versus Miocic. With me breaking this card is none other than the panel, Babu and Jedi. How's it going, boys?
Tight, man, tight.
So today we don't have AD with us, unfortunately, but you will catch him tomorrow when we do the UFC parlay pick. You can get myself and AD on that one. But for now, we're just going to be going through the top 3 fights. This time it is Babu and Jedi. Let me bring it up on screen quickly. Jedi. The co-main event sees the return of two heavyweight giants. Guys haven't fought in 3 years, give or take. So we're going to go straight to you for this one. We see the return of Jon Jones. A little bit of some statistics before we go. He is the heavyweight champion and the former light heavyweight champion. His record in the UFC is 27 wins, one loss, which is by DQ, and obviously 1 DQ and 1 loss. 10 wins by KO, 7 wins by submission, with a 58% striking accuracy and a 45% takedown, 95% takedown defense. Sorry. He's also quite active in the striking department. He's got a 4.29 significant strikes landed per minute. He beat DC twice, beat Gustafsson twice, beat
So my internet's a bit sorry. My internet's a bit slow.
It's okay, bro. Let's just give it a moment for it to work. Mine's also a bit slow today, so we're gonna have to be patient and let it go until we respond. But Jedi, give me your thoughts on this heavyweight bout. Obviously, Stipe Miocic was the former champion in heavyweight division. Defended the most titles, beat all the best guys in the division. So he obviously made his name as the icon in the heavyweight division. Can you give us your thoughts about how you think this fight's going to play out? Oh, is it that slow?
Jedi, are you still there?
Yeah, sorry guys. I think my internet chicken out. Yeah, it's very slow here. But basically, I think Jon Jones is going to retire after this win. If you catch that, I think he's been a bit of a scaredy pants. I don't know what happened to Aspinall. I don't know what happened to Gane, but I feel like fighting Stipe is a bit boring for him. Because Stipe is not relevant, but Stipe hasn't fought in I don't know how long. So I feel that big ups on Stipe for taking the fight. I commend him. I feel that Jon Jones is trying to pick an easy fight for his retirement. So yeah, I think he's gonna win. Probably stop Stipe, but and yeah, I think we might see him retire after this fight.
Both of them are going to retire after this fight. Babu, do you second Jedi on this one? Give us your thoughts? How do you think the fight plays out?
I don't think Jones will retire after this fight. Like from a lot of the interviews, it seems like he wants to put one more fight on that legacy, and I think it's the Pereira fight. A lot of chatter going into about Tom Aspinall, and I think like he just says, and I tend to agree.
You must fight Aspinall, bro.
I do think he has a point because you like look at the resume. Does Tom Aspinall increase his resume? I wouldn't say that much. I would say it's just another name. I think it's just another name on there. I think Stipe definitely does increase his legacy. I think when you look at Jon Jones' resume, like I think there's more than 10 fighters that you can say like that guy you like was a champion. That guy was a champion. That guy you thought he was undefeated. that guy you thought he was going to be Jon Jones. I think Stipe adds to that. I think if you look at the stats itself, Stipe is the taller fighter. I think Stipe will come in as the heavier fighter as well, and I think Stipe matches him really well. I am a bit sad that Stipe has taken such a long layoff, and like ring rust is a thing, and I do think Jon Jones is a bit more conditioned, like coming into this fight. Um, but I do think Stipe does have a puncher's chance. I don't think Jones does the same thing that he did to Cyril Gane and walks Stipe down. I think Stipe deserves way more respect than that, and I think Stipe carries more power than what Cyril Gane does, especially in his hands. I think Jon Jones is going to play that game of the void and going to poke at Stipe and try to break his rhythm as much as possible. But in terms of this fight, it's hard for me to root against Jon Jones. Like he does have the moniker of the GOAT for a definite reason, and yeah, I think Jones gets it done. I just think it will be in the championship rounds and not in the 3.
Mad. So we got both of you guys going for Jon Jones for win. Slightly different takes on it. Jedi obviously thinks Jon Jones is going to win and retire, whereas in Babu is saying that no, Jon Jones is going to go for Alex Pereira next. Let us know in the comments, what do you think? How do you think this fight's going to play out? And also, what next for the person who wins and loses? Both these fighters haven't been active over the last 4 years, so both of them could potentially have gotten the ring rust. Jon Jones just recovered from a massive pectoral tear, so that could be a factor in the fight. Stipe, although people are thinking that he was inactive for so long, the man has been training because this fight was scheduled while was the last year, the year before. So he has been in training camp for Jon Jones, and also on his daily life, the guy trains pretty much every single day. So I don't completely share the same sentiments as both of you guys, but I'm going to save my opinion for the parlay picks when I do it with 80 tomorrow. But okay, we'll keep it moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Jedi 80, we will keep it moving to the co-main event where we can get your thoughts on Charles Oliveira taking on Michael Chandler in a rematch. Obviously, we know a lot about Charles Oliveira. He's the former lightweight champion. Probably got the most decorated record in the division, hands down. Beat pretty much all the top contenders in the division as well. Michael Chandler, new to the UFC, but also his run in the UFC has not been that easy. He has also fought the top 3, top 5 guys in the division since being in it. Only Tony Ferguson and Dan Hooker being outside of that top 5, while Dan Hooker now officially in the top 5. The first fight was back and forth. The guys were going hard. Michael Chandler almost basically knocking Charles Oliveira out, almost getting the victory. A little too late, but then obviously being knocked down by Charles Oliveira in the second round and getting beat. Probably one of the wildest 2 rounds you'll ever see in that division. So go back and watch it if you haven't done so. With Babo in this fight, who do you think comes out victorious? So who's got the better chance winning this fight? Obviously, Charles Oliveira has won the first one. Michael Chandler has been inactive over 2 years, obviously trying to fight against the notorious one in Conor McGregor, and that fell through. And now officially making a fight and taking on someone like Charles Oliveira. Is it safe to say that this is going to be a number 1 contenders match? And who gets the job done?
I think it would be a number 1 contenders fight. I would hope. Depends. Because I don't think this fight goes any different. I think Charles Oliveira gets it done again. I do think a lot of the pre-fight chatter coming out of Michael Chandler, I don't really believe it, because he said like, oh, he was a bit younger when he fought Charles Oliveira. He's like, what, 37, 38 years old.
38,
he was a champ. He was a champion in Bellator. Like, you're not young. You're not a young fighter. Like, Alex Pereira is a young fighter. Like, he's doing MMA for 3 years or like 2 and a bit. So I would say like, you know what? If he came out with that excuse, I would be like, fair.
But they're the same age though.
But I think Michael Chandler has a ton of MMA experience.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I understand. Yeah.
So that's the only reason. I do think I think Charles gets it done. I am a massive Two Bronx fan. Shoot the box, jump. I'm always there. I do think Michael Chandler doesn't have too much of a he hasn't shown me any evolution in his game to be able to deal with Charles Oliveira's jiu-jitsu. I still think Charles Oliveira will submit him one way or the other.
Wow.
I think like even if Chandler might drop him because Chandler does have dynamite in his hands, but Charles Oliveira is not somebody that you just one punch KO. You're gonna have to follow it up. And as soon as you follow it up, that's where the game changes. Because as soon as you are in his guard, it's one way or the other, he might just catch you with anything. Arm bars, dash chokes, triangles, knee bars. This man has every submission that you can think of, he has in his arsenal. And he's one of the fighters that you look at and you like, that he is as dangerous in top guard as he is at the bottom. Because you just miss one punch and your arm is strapped GG's. Like that man is snapping. And I think Oliveira, like I do think he was hard done by in the Makachev fight. I just don't think that was his best night. I think he looked off in every sense. And I think he deserves another crack at it. And hopefully he will get past Michael Chandler and get another shot at the title.
Yeah, well, I mean, his last fight was against Arman Sarukian in a very close battle. He lost by split decision. I mean, that was a barn burner from first round to round 3. The guys were going absolutely back and forth. Just a little bit more on this fight, Babu. Michael Chandler, in the first fight, he got taken down. Oliveira got back control. Basically, he was almost sunk in the rear naked choke, and Chandler got out of it. Even so, that he actually reversed the position and he got on top and he started grounding pounding Charles Oliveira. I think it's safe to say that Michael Chandler does have the power advantage in this fight. And if you look at Michael Chandler's fights since he's been in the UFC and going up against the top 3 guys, he stood his own against all of them. The only thing I think that maybe what led to him losing the fight, look, I'm not a massive Michael Chandler fan. I think he's very, to a not a large degree, but he's a little bit one-dimensional for me. He's very explosive. You know what you get out of that. You know he's going to try and hit you hard. You know he's got very competent wrestling defense, and then he keeps the fight standing, and then he looks to just stand and bang with you because that's where he gets his best chance to beating you, right? But in the first fight, he actually survived Charles Oliveira's best game, which is the jiu-jitsu, in the first round, which is where he's probably the most dangerous, right? Got out of it and then actually started piecing Charles Oliveira up. Do you think, and this is also another thing to add to that dynamic, both these gentlemen have actually felt each other in the octagon before. They both know what kind of power each one possesses. What I'm trying to highlight here is that what caused Michael Chandler to lose the fight is the nature of who he is. You know, the dynamic of when he's in a fight, he just can't help himself but just get very explosive and he just wants to put his hands on you and just wants to hit you hard. And he can't not do that. You know what I mean? It's just what he is. And he's been speaking about it in the press conference, in the media these couple of days, that's what he wants to try and do differently in this fight, is actually just be more patient. It's the same thing that Justin Gaethje has been his whole career. It's been this dog, but I would say it's safe to say over the fight, since the fight against Faziev, he kind of tried to be a little bit more controlled, a little bit less chaotic and almost picky shots. Do you think that if Michael Chandler comes into this fight with that kind of attribute or that game plan, does he get his hand raised?
I think if he comes in with that attitude, he gets his hand raised. Do I believe he will come in with that? No. I think the difference between him and Justin Gaethje is Gaethje's training partner. Gaethje's training partner is Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman has the same mindset as all the elite fighters. Here's the game plan. We stick to the game plan. Whether it's going your way or not, they have like a certain mindset of, no, I'm going to try and take you down. And if I can't, I will try again. And I think that's what Gaethje learned from Kamaru Usman. Maybe not with a takedown, but set up your shot. Even if you don't get the opportunity to land it, keep setting it up, keep finding it. Because the same thing your coach will tell you, they'll put that belief in you to say that nobody can handle your best shot. And I think Michael Chandler is still at American top team. I don't think anybody I don't think he changed training partners. I think all the top guys there are still at like medium to, I would say, like contenders to champion status. So I don't think that's going to change. I think Michael Chandler might look more patient in the first round, but if Charles Oliveira finds a good shot, I think the game plan goes out of the window and let's stand and bang. Let me overthrow. And as soon as you start doing stuff like that, Charles Oliveira, I just think like the amount of submissions that's to his game, as well as a good stand up base. Like you can't stand there and trade with you as long as you want to, and then you will pick up an opportunity where you overextend, you'll get a takedown. Whether you can scramble best you can, because Michael Chandler is a good wrestler. You will scramble, probably get top control, and Charles Oliveira will then try to throw elbows and throw up submissions. And even though he might not get a rear naked or an armbar, there's still a triangle and a DOS that you have to worry about. There's just too much complexity to Charles Oliveira's game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know if Michael Chandler can actually tap him out unless Charles Oliveira is completely rocked. All the skill sets and previously the records and everything speaks for itself. It does show that Charles Oliveira is most likely going to be the favorite of this fight and get the job done. And just to add to what you said about the submission game of Charles Oliveira, he's got 21 wins by submission, 34 wins in total, 21 wins by sub. There you go. You know what I mean? So, but again, these guys have been in the octagon against each other before, and we saw how explosive that first 2 rounds were. So, let's see what happens in this next one. Let us know in the comments, gentlemen, what do you think about this co-main event? It's arguably probably the best fight to put together so far in the year, and I would not be upset if this actually was the main event of the card. I personally feel like they didn't have to put Stipe and Jon Jones to save this card. Like these two gentlemen, they are main event. They will, people are going to pay to watch. So yeah, give us your thoughts. We'd love to hear what you have to say about that. That's going to definitely potentially be the fight of the night. All right, Babu. Let's keep it moving to the featured bout of the night. We see the UFC poster boy, Bo Nickal taking on Paul Craig in a middleweight scrap. And yeah, Bo Nickal, as I say, poster boy, he's currently undefeated in the UFC with 6-0, only having 3 of those fights in the UFC, excuse me. 2 wins by KO, 4 wins by submission. He's got 6 first-round finishes with a 62% striking accuracy. However, he hasn't really struck that much. It's only been 3 fights and barely really threw any strikes in those fights. 50% takedown accuracy with a 1.69 significant strikes landed per minute. This is his best attribute for me. He's got a 7.46 takedown average per 15 minutes. So he's taking you down every single fucking round he can. His last fight, he beat Cody Brundage by submission. He beat Woodburn by KO and Pickett by submission. He's taken on the legend in Paul Craig with a record of 17 wins, 8 losses, and 1 no contest. Paul Craig has got 4 wins by KO and 13 wins by submission. That's the big point in this fight here, because obviously if it goes to the ground, which is probably going to be the most likeliest chance, is Bo Nickal going to be safe? Paul Craig has got 11 first-round finishes with a 46% striking accuracy and a 38% takedown defense. His significant strikes landed per minute stands at 2.45, and his last fight he lost to Caio Baralho by KO. And his record has not necessarily been the greatest. He's also been one of those fighters that's been winning and losing. Granted, he's been fighting in 2 different divisions. He's been obviously going light heavyweight and middleweight, so he's been up and down. That's why he hasn't necessarily been able to secure a fantastic winning streak. But he is extremely dangerous, as we know. His jiu-jitsu is one of the scariest things you will see, breaking the former champion in Jamal Hill's arm. All right, Babu, how do you think this fight plays out?
It pains me to say, but I think Bo Nickal gets it done. I think Bo Nickal has a bit of a legend to him, the same way Khabib and Islam Makhachev has. Like they have this legend of like they are elite at something, and the opponents normally worries about what they are elite at. Yeah. And I think like everybody's hyped up Bo Nickal's wrestling. So I think Paul Craig is like he's very wary of the wrestling, and like Bo Nickal being able to set it up, set up a takedown, and I think that what helps Islam Makhachev as well as Bo Nickal. Like fighters are so worried about them getting a hold of them that they leave themselves open to certain punches, and I think that's what helps Bo Nickal a lot. Especially so far, he hasn't been really matched up against like an elite fighter yet. I'd say Paul Craig is probably his toughest opponent to date. I think Paul Craig also comes with a wealth of experience that could potentially help him, and especially with the jiu-jitsu game that he does have, I think that's also scary to Bo Nickal. I do think Bo Nickal will probably like pick shots here and there because I do think he has a better stand-up game than Paul Craig. I think he'll pop shots at Paul Craig throughout the first round. I think like in the second we'll see like him shoot a takedown, and you'll hopefully, well not hopefully, but I think you will hold top control and you will hold control of Paul Craig. I don't think you will really go into Paul Craig's guard. I think if Paul Craig looks to like win the fight, he has to pull guard in some facet, especially away from the cage, because I think Bo Nickal is not gonna want to stay in his guard. I don't think he's gonna want to advance position too much on the feet. I mean on the floor.
On the ground.
So I do think Paul Craig will have an opportunity to try and finish this fight at some point or the other, because I don't think Bo Nickal is going to look to take Paul Craig into deeper waters. I think so far from what I've seen of Bo Nickal, he looks to get the finish. He does seem a bit inexperienced in how he gets the finishes, because I think in his last fight I saw like he rushed the finish.
Yes,
he was and that with the wrestling game, you have to hope your cardio stays up there, because you can definitely gas yourself. So I think the longer the fight goes, the more it favors Paul Craig, because I think Bo Nickal's gonna wanna implement his game plan of just position and looking to either TKO him like via shots, like that Paul Craig like can't posture too well. But I think Bo Nickal gets it done.
True.
I'm a bit tentative of what's next for Bo Nickal, to be fair. If he does get past Paul Craig, because I don't want to look past Paul Craig, but if he does get past him, or what's next for Bo Nickal, because that top 15 I think is not in his favor. I think he's not. I think he oversells himself in terms of, oh, my wrestling's elite and people don't know. But that top 15 is well experienced in saying like, we've seen you, and he doesn't carry like one shot knockout power. So
I mean,
we'll see.
Granted, he did knock out what's his name, Woodburn, with that with that left hook. I mean, left straight. Excuse me. His strikiness looked okay. It looked better than what he did in his first few fights, first two fights. But again, he's fighting against a bunch of. If they were ranked on the game, they would be ranked as like overweight in 33. Ladies and gentlemen, we got our boy Adriano Moraes in the game. How's it going, Adriano?
What's happening, boys? What's happening? Just came to give a quick. I came at perfect timing here. Perfect timing. This is actually the one I wanted to talk about. Just came to give a quick shout out to the parlay boys. We are 2-2. Keep a lookout for Paul Craig on the card this week. He is the big dog, but I'll let you guys handle it. Just came to say away and give a quick shout out, guys. Away. Have a liquor show, boys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. Away. Peace, bro.
Much love. Love it. AD always just bringing all the love and all the energy out there for us. I think we can save that conversation for what Bo Nickal, what's next for Bo Nickal. If he gets the dub, and then we do our recap, then we can talk about that. I do think that he's going up against someone that's not going to be as easy as his first 3 fights in the UFC for sure. Because, like you say, Paul Craig brings so much knowledge and experience in this game. The only thing that's worries me about this for Paul Craig is I struggle to see what Paul Craig's game plan is like when he's on the front foot. You know what I mean? Is he piecing you up? Is he putting you against the cage? Is he puzzling you to the point where you overextending and then he locks you up like that? A lot of his victories are coming from fighters are trying to take him down and then they get caught in like what AD says in a spider web and then they get stuck and then they find themselves struggling to get away from it. You know what I mean? And that being said, I can understand why AD saying keep a lookout for Paul Craig on the parlay because Nickal best attribute to winning the fight is probably going to be able to keep it standing. Because if he goes and does what he does best, which is taking the fight down, you then enter in your opponent's best chance of beating you, which is obviously the ground positioning. So it does make for a very interesting fight because the dynamics are, you know what I mean. If Nickal tries what he does best, it may actually just make the fight. He might actually just lose the fight in that way. So it's like I personally think if Nickal wants to win the fight, he's going to have to keep it standing. That's how Paul Craig loses his fights. People outboxing.
You know does it go the distance?
I don't think so. I don't think it goes the distance. To be honest, I think it's going to end one way or another. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to save my analysis on all these fights for the parlay episode. You can catch that on Thursday evening when myself and AD put together the parlay for you, ladies and gentlemen, out there. But okay, Barbara's obviously going with Bo Nickal in this one. Let us know in the comments what you think about this fight and who do you think gets the job done. We'll keep it moving here in the CPS reports to the next fight. And Barbara, with this next fight, we are seeing again. You don't have to give us your full analysis, but you can give us a nice quick prediction on it. We have Viviane Araujo taking on Karine Silva in the women's flyweight division. And I think it's safe to say that this fight is to crack the top 10 at least. I know none of them have got a rank next to their name, but I do feel like because Viviane has fought against the top woman of the division previously in her career, Alexa Gracio, what's the woman's name? Maya. And then we got obviously Karine Silva, who's just been wiping the floor with everyone that she's fighting so far. Her jiu-jitsu is slick. She's just tapping out everybody, and she's snappy. She's fast. Kickboxing is very good. Spinning back kicks. I think this is going to be a mouth-watering fixture for sure. I think the women are going to go gun ho. It's Brazil versus Brazil. Can you give us your pick for this one, please, Babu?
I would say like both fighters look evenly matched. I think it's a good matchup, especially like going into the rankings.
Yes.
One of them can definitely look at maybe making a stake, making a claim to make a run at the title. I do like Karine Silva. I think she's the one that has the hype behind her now. With a nickname or with a moniker of the killer, I think we have to give respect where your respect is due. You know what I mean?
Just bringing up the records here so you can see.
Jeez, that is
she's just freaking everybody, bro.
She's the killer, bro. She's the killer.
She's very exciting to watch. Very exciting to watch.
Definitely.
I'm gonna bring a record up for Viviane. Yeah.
I think she's just had the hard luck, man. Like
unfortunately,
the people that she's matched up against.
Names.
Good fighters.
Look at these names, bro.
Really good fighters, and she's just like she's competitive. I can say that she's competed against all of them, and she doesn't get finished by them. She goes to decision with them, and I think she's definitely in there to compete. And I think this is a test for Karine Silva to see if she can get something done against a fighter that not a lot of people can say has a clear victory over. Will she get the finish? Will she keep the hype train alive, or will it go to decision? I'm backing Silva to get the finish, like in the second.
Oh, in the second, Suma.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. I think this fight's gonna be a barn burner. I think Karine Silva's probably going to win by submission. And I can see it happening also maybe in the second or third round. I don't know if it's going to be an early stop, a finish in the first round. I think these women are both going to stand their own in that first round. And then the one who dominates the end of that first round is most likely going to be the one that's going to win the fight, the rest of the fight. So, yeah, let us know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think gets the job done between these two fantastic Brazilian athletes. We're going to keep it moving over here in the CPS reports to the opening bout of the main card, we got Mauricio Ruffy fighting out of the Fighting Nerds camp, taking on James Llontop, fighting out of Peru. So it's South America versus South America. Babu, give me your thoughts on this one. We obviously know the Fighting Nerds is producing absolute killers so far. None of them are taking losses as it stands at this moment. Pratic is beating everyone. Baralho is beating everybody. Rufi's coming in and he obviously knocking out people. How do you think this fight plays out between these two young studs?
So I have watched Ruffy before. I watched his debut fight on the prelims. I think him being the opener to the main card, I think that shows a bit of investment from the UFC. They want to put his name there. They think there's something there. On the other side, James Llontop has just put on good decisions. I think he has a submission as his first win in the UFC, and then he went to a split last time out. So I think he's also a decent fighter that you can look at, and he could put a couple of victories together, and you could see him like maybe challenge there outside the top 15. I think Ruffy is the one with the hype here. I think his camp has just been on fire, like you said. I think he gets it done here as well. I just think that camp is producing great game plans for the fighters. I think all the fighters are close to that peak where you like, I don't know, anybody that gets put against any one of those fighters is gonna have a rough night out. I do think Ruffy is gonna get it done. We could see an early stoppage here because he does have dynamite in his arms, man.
Yeah, he's good. His boxing is really good. I'm impressed with it 100%. I'm gonna let it end there. I'm not gonna give my point of view again. Like I say, you can catch all of that in the parlay up. It's coming up on Thursday evening. But that means if Ruffy gets the job done, that's another victory for the Fighting Nerds. And I mean, they're becoming slowly but surely they're becoming more and more undeniable in the UFC. Babu, we are going to just run through the rest of the card, and if there are any names that you want to highlight, please do so. Obviously, Jonathan Martinez, we know we recently fought. Wasn't Jose? No, that's definitely that's Batista that fought. Excuse me. Marcus, he's fighting against Marcus McGee. Chris Weidman, the legend, 41 years old, coming in to fight against Eric Anders. I think it's safe to say that this is going to be a retirement fight for the two gentlemen. For Chris Weidman. Can you give a little pick for that one quickly, Babu?
A bit sad that Chris Weidman's on the under, but on the prelims, I think he's a crowd favorite. He's done his fights.
In New York also, bro. In the MSG, this is his hometown.
Bro, he has one of the fights of the decade against Anderson Silva. His highlight reel speaks for itself. I think Eric Anders, maybe not as much as accomplished in the UFC, but also I think this fight is a decent fight for both fighters. I think they match up well. I don't think we're gonna see a Chris Weidman special of knocking out Eric Anders. I do think Eric Anders could potentially upset the crowd, but I don't think it will go that way. I think we're gonna see a decision here. I think Chris Weidman gets it done in his last fight. He retires a legend, man. We have to believe in the fairy tale.
I believe as well. Yeah, I don't know. I've watched a lot of Eric Anders, and I'm not too keen on him. I'm not on his style, and he's never really did enough for me to go like, oh, this is going to be someone that the world needs to watch out for. I think Chris decisions him as well. I think Chris is going to game plan this fight really, really well, and come out victorious on a good retirement fight. Jim Miller, I thought he was a title of the UFC 300. I don't know why he's here. He's fighting against Damon Jackson, who looks a lot like Beavis and Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. Don't really want to give too much on that one, unless you would like to. The early prelims, we have Marcin Tybura, one of the heavyweight ranked fighters. I don't know why Mickey Gall is still in the UFC as well. Off camera, I was telling Babu, this guy, I've watched him since he started, and he's never done anything to significantly say that he can still be a UFC fighter. He should have gone to one championship, to be quite honest. Could have had a better chance there. And then obviously the opening bout between Veronica Hardy, Dan Hardy's wife, taking on Eduarda Moura. Is that how you say it? In the women's division. That's pretty much the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Jedi's come back here. Let's see if Jedi can give us any last words. Yo, Jedi, we just came to the end of the show. Is anything you want to conclude? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I thought
let
me just come back and see if the
internet
is
anyway,
yeah,
we at the end of the we've gone through the main, we've gone through the card.
Damn.
But it's okay, bro. It's okay. The internet does look a lot better. Can you give us a quick run
All
through?
I wanted to say was, Jon Jones is gonna win, but I think he's taking an easy fight. I'm very happy to see Michael Chandler back and giving up on Conor McGregor because that was going nowhere. And he's fighting Du Bronx. I feel like this could be possibly a contender fight. Maybe one more fight after this, but I'm gonna go with my guy Charlie Du Bronco. And then for the Bo Nickal and Paul Craig, I think that's a very interesting fight. People mustn't sleep on Paul Craig. I think Bo Nickal's actually going to try and stand in this fight. I think he maybe feels boxing is better. On the ground, I think they're evenly matched. I think Bo Nickal's probably going to try, and if they go down, Bo Nickal will probably be on top. But Paul Craig's got good submission game, bro. People mustn't sleep on that guy. So it's a very tough pick for me there. I hope Paul Craig wins. My bets are going to be with Paul Craig, Charlie Du Bronco, and Jon Jones. And the Booker, I think the Booker's playing Scotland this weekend, if anybody wants to know.
There you go. Just got the Booker. That's the parlay of Jedi from the CPS Reports. Jedi, thank you for coming in, even though we had some internet issues, for giving us your thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our time. Give us your thoughts in the comments about who do you think gets the job done, so we can see if our parlays all come through. Like I said, you can catch my analysis with 80s Thursday evening when we do our parlay on the Betting Man segment. But that is the end of the show. If you've come this far, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. We are very close to our first 1,000 subscribers, and we also recently just hit our first 1,000 watch hours publicly. So big ups to everyone who's allowed or played a part in us getting those numbers. This is the CPS Reports. UFC 309, Jon Jones versus Miocic is live this Sunday, 17th of November, Sunday at 5 a.m. South African time. You can catch that on DSTV, UFC Fight Pass, TNT Sports. All the sporting channels are going to do that for us live. On that note, stay safe. Enjoy the fights this weekend. Stay humble. You can catch CPS on the next one.
White cat food, guys. Only get a 2 get.